how much was that factored into your decision with regard to Joliet versus, say, St. Charles and Chicago?
Senator, as far as capital improvement needs at the various facilities, you know, as you mentioned, there are needs at every facility. However, when we looked at comparing one facility versus another as we went through this process, we felt that St. Charles was a facility that did better maintain the longer-term vision for the department as compared to a Joliet. However, there are significant capital needs at St. Charles.
How do you compare St. Charles to Joliet?
Over the next 5 years, we're projecting projects totaling about $18.5 million in needs at St. Charles. That includes some of the projects that are currently in process at that facility. As compared to Joliet, we're anticipating about $6.3 million in capital improvement needs at this facility if it were to remain operational over the next 5 years. You mentioned,
and then given that the St. Charles facility is going to be more expensive in terms of the upgrade, I presume there is a value nonetheless that we put overall that makes the $12 million difference or thereabout, and the increased risk from transferring maximums to mediums worth it. And I guess what we need to understand is what is that rationale that makes that worth it in your estimation? And again, I want to be very clear. I think you do need to close two facilities. I support you in that endeavor 100%. I just want to understand why you've chosen the one that you've chosen and understand the decision-making process so that I can be as informed when I need to vote on this idea. Can you get me, whether either now or sometime between now and our vote, the understanding, sort of the rationale as to why St. Charles, despite having a larger capital price tag and being medium rather than maximum, better fits into the long-term plan of Joliet?
Right, we'll get that to you, but just to frame it a little bit in terms of, we talk about max and we talk about security classification. Part of the long-term vision of the department, and again, in line with national studies in other states, is that we look to move not all the way away from looking at the max and those security type labels that based on the committee offense, but start to focus on each youth individual needs. Again, because we have a large percent of our youth who have mental health, substance abuse, other type needs. So even as we sit here today, Senator, the decision to put a youth, for instance, at IYC Joliet, which is our special treatment program and also our juvenile sex offender program, the treatment needs, the preponderance of treatment needs and the critical treatment needs of youth supersedes their security level. And so we have youth who may be back, but if their security needs say that they need this high level mental health or high level sex offender treatment, then those youth will go toward that particular program. The long-term plan is again to move less from looking at and just single youth, because the committee often suggested that youth is max, but to put that youth or transfer that youth to a whole site that can more conducively meet his or her individual treatment needs.
And I don't mean to minimize the importance of treatment needs. I do think it's important. I accept the premise. That being said, I would also caution you that it is also dangerous, I think, to minimize the significance of the severity of the crime that brought this person into the system in the first place. A murderer, although a minor, has still murdered somebody. And we can try to work out the issues with that person and rehabilitate that person. But on the spectrum,
yes,
don't diminish or disregard the fact that this person did in fact murder someone.
Let me clarify that. I totally agree, because in all of our planning and all of our thinking, security and safety is prominent. But along with that, then we also must address the mental health need for those youth. Those youth that are going back to the community, and 90%, 95% of the youth are targeted to return to somebody's community. And so our charge is this: yes, we definitely, safety is prominent, but at the same time, if those youth are coming back to anybody's community in this room, my question is, how do we want them to return? And so as we're looking at this challenging time, and looking at this challenging budget, and looking at the fact that these youth are going to return to somebody's community, our challenge and our mission is to do as much as we can to rehabilitate these young men, rehabilitate these young ladies, to develop our staff so that they would have better capacity. Our staff are well trained in what they do, but we also understand that there needs to be some enhancement and some support so that they can then become more engaged in the community. So that's what we're trying to accomplish.
And just in closing, I don't know that anybody here disagrees with the general framework of what you just outlined. We do have challenges. They will result in facility closures. The devil is always in the details, and we can have, I think, an honest debate about the best way to serve people within the limited resources that we have. I appreciate your answering my questions. Look forward to some more follow-up. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll take other questions from committee members. Representative Poe.
Thank you. And thank all of you for being here. A little bit on the budget. Could you work it down for me on how many youth we have here, how many employees, what the opportunities are going to be for employees? Can someone go through that for me? We didn't hear about that.
Currently, there are approximately 227 employees that will be impacted if Joliet were to close. The annual budget for Joliet is approximately $19.7 million. We're estimating a fiscal year 13 savings of $17.1 million through the closure. There is about $5.3 million of transition costs by relocating the youth from Joliet to other facilities. So you have a net savings in FY13 of $11.8 million associated with the closure of Joliet.
The opportunities for the employees?
Yeah, we have added staff at the facilities that will receive these youth, whether it be St. Charles.
Does this staff have first chance at those jobs?
Yeah, we will work with the labor organizations under the process in their contract in regards to a layoff, and they will be for budgeted vacancies that exist. There will be they will have opportunities to go into those positions where they're offered. Now, we do.
How many available do you have?
As of today, we have at our facilities, and this is statewide, we have approximately 61, we're estimating 61 budgeted vacancies as of today. Now, the agency does attrit out approximately 10 staff per month, so that number will grow as we get closer to the project, or as we get closer to the closure of the facility.
So to absorb these youth, you're only going to have to, how many extra staff you have to put on in the United States?
Well, we assumed 40 additional staff, but we already had some existing vacancies throughout the agency that also need to be filled as well. So as of today, the vacancy number in our institutions is 61. And another important thing to point out, in regards to the layoff process and the filling of vacancies in that process, the Department of Corrections and the Department of Juvenile Justice are treated as one agency in that process. So there may also be opportunities within the Department of Corrections that these staff will have available for them. However, as we know, there's closures and layoffs that will be occurring in the Department of Corrections as well.
What's the cost here per youth?
It's approximately $85,000 per youth.
Okay, and you're telling me that's going to go way down then, right?
As you may...
You're saying 17 million over a few years, that has to go down. So
the overall cost for the agency will decrease, yes.
So you're looking maybe at 40,000? now when we look at